So dear student, once again, very good evening to all of you. So today we are going to see about how to write a good essay. Even if you have no idea, don't know how to start, I am going to tell you by step method. So first I'm going to give you a framework, and on that framework, I'm going to tell you how you can write a very good essay. Even 150 word, 2000 word is also less to write this essay. Okay, so I will help you to develop that skill. But something before that, let me once again brief about this essay. So what are the things that you have to keep in mind? So very briefly, already we have discussed in our previous class. So essay, you have to write 2 essay in your examinations. Your examination, there will be 2 essay. You have to write 2 essays, and each essay is having 125 marks. So total marks is 250. Just imagine, by one paper you can score 160 in state PCS, but in UPSC you cannot. A little bit of less marks if you are scoring 130 out of 250. This is what you can score in your state PCS, because state PCS mark is quite loose marking. Okay, state PCS. But in UPSC, if you are focusing this much, then you can score 130, which is very high marks as compared to your GS paper. It is very difficult to score this much in GS paper. So it is wise, it is advisable, focus on your essay. Okay. And each and every essay you have to write in 1200 to 1000 to 1200 words. So the moment you see a essay, it's a large to write, around 13 page. So it might create a lot of difficulties of how to write such a lengthy and big format. So I'm going to tell you step by step. Okay. So before saying all these things, so do you know about the syllabus? So just tell me, tell me so that I can write it out. So actually in essay it's comprising of 3 parts. So first we start from the intro. In intro, generally it is advisable to start from the quote. Generally, some people start from the definition. So I'll not advise to go for definition, because please mute your mic, Baba. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic, everyone. Please mute your mic. It will create a lot of disturbances. Na? So generally, people start from the quotes, or they can start their introduction from anecdotes or story. This is actually real catch the attention. आपने देखे होंगे तेलुगु मूवी में क्या होता है? You have seen the Telugu movie, so they have started something. This hero is please mute your mic, Baba Vishwanath, Vishwa Pratap. Everyone, please mute your mic. Everyone, please mute your mic. Otherwise, it will create a lot of disturbances. Everyone, please mute your mic. Vishwanath. Otherwise, I'll have to mute you. Sorry for that. But I am not having no other option. Okay. So please, actually, disturbances create actually stop my flow, please. So next we can start from the anecdotes. Actually, if you start from the anecdote, it really catch the attention of the examiner. Just आपने तेलुगु मूवी में देखे होते हैं. तेलुगु में क्या होता है? हीरो को भगाता रहता है और वो जाके कहीं कूद जाता है, मरने की पोजीशन में आता है, देन बैक जाके आप स्टोरी को एक्सप्लेन करते हो. कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को मार दिया. इन क्वेश्चन क्या रहा? कटप्पा ने क्यों बाहुबली को मारा? So that is what the suspension, what makes your essay very interesting, and you are forcing the evaluator to read this essay. So we have to start from the anecdotes and stories. Generally, some people, what they starting from the definitions. For example, in sustainable development, they define what is sustainable development component. So please don't go this definition. This is very rudiment, very basics level. Generally, everyone do that. So either you can start from the quotes, or you can start from the anecdotes, or you can start from the case study. You can say particularly some incident has happened, and you can link that incident with something big, and then you can link with the essay. So advisable to start with the quote. If essay is a quote, don't start from the quote. If it is non-quote, then start from a quote. If essay is quote, start from anecdote, then case study. After that is body part. So generally in body, today I'm going to discuss a framework on the basis of UPSC and state PCS syllabus. So tell me what is in your syllabus. So starting from GS paper 1. So GS paper 1, I think सबको पता होगा GS paper 1 में क्या होता है, history ना. And within that history, just watch this video. You will get a framework. चाहे कितने भी top essay आए, कुछ भी आए, you will get that framework. I'll have to think in the 2030 framework. And automatically it is going to be very helpful to write a very, very difficult essay also. This is what very helpful to me. I'm also suggesting same way. So history, we can write something related to ancient history na. And I'll share this PDF also. Ancient history, then we'll talk about medieval history na. Medieval. Then you can talk about modern history na. Then you can talk about contemporary. Contemporary means post liberalization. Contemporary history na. Then you can talk about world history na. So here you can think any essay we can generate 5 points from history itself. Next part of the GS is society. Na? Society, you can talk about multiple things like women, then disabled, all these things you can talk about, family, nuclearization, globalization, everything, casteism, regionalism, communalism, all these things can be part of the society. Na? Then in GS1, what else? I think either you can put the geography and environment here, or you can write in GS3. So I'm writing, let's say, environment also. So environment, you can talk about international conference, climate justice, you can write like na international conference, environmental conference, then climate justice, anything related to climate. So you can also add here. Then we'll go to the GS2 ना. So what are the component in GS2? GS2 के अंदर क्या component होती है बताओ एक बार. GS2 is starting with the polity and constitution ना. So we have to write something what is mentioned in our constitution and polity. So देखो, I am giving you a direction. So on that line you have to think, and it is very easy to even write 20-30 points. You are following it very seriously. So next we can write about governance ना. Governance, so governance like good governance, RTI, citizen charter. So on that line, and I'm going to see how I'm writing this essay using this framework only. So next session we are going to see another framework. On that basis I'm going to show you how you can write this essay also. Next we are going to see social justice. What is social justice? Social justice is basically education, health, and nutrition, then providing employment and empowerment of the disabled, weaker section of the society. Then we can see about the IR, international relation. Then in GS3, so GS3 paper of your GS is basically deals with which paper? It deals with economy. In economy, you can see further like agriculture, then manufacturing. Please note down if you want. Then service sector also na. Service sector, any sector you can write as you wish. So I'm just giving a skeleton for your understanding. Then it is the internal security na. Internal security. Internal security means all these disturbances. It can be Maoism, left-wing extremism, then terrorism, then border and cyber crime. All sort of things will become here. Then next is what? A science and tech na. So science and tech you can write about nuclear, space, biotech, okay, etc. etc. You can write a lot of points from here. Then we'll move to the ethics. GS4 na. So GS4 is basically deals with ethical aspect. Then attitude. We'll explore what are the attitude behind it. Then value. Then philosophy. Then psychology na. So if you are knowing this much, then you can see automatically you are generating how many points you can see. Please mute your mic, AK Ankit, please mute your mic. So you can see from here we can generate a lot of points. So by using that framework, I'm going to tell you how you can write this essay. So I think everyone is aware about our syllabus of our GS paper, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. Everyone is aware of that? Just raise your hand. Yes, okay. Then it is okay. So if you are aware of the all the GS paper of that, and I'm going to tell you whatever I'm writing, everyone know that. I'm not going to suggest write something else, read something else. No, whatever I'm going to give you, so it is part of the GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 component. So no need to do extra study, only the newspaper by having selective study. So all whatever content we are going to use, GS. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all this content, if you are merged properly with suitably adding some example, you can write a very good essay. Okay. Second, what you have to do? You have to do brainstorming 50-day, one essay. You have to do a lot of brainstorming. You have to think, just like I'm going to show you how you are going to think. Then you have to write one essay in a 15 days. So in 365 days, so you will be 52 weeks, 52 by 1, around 26 essay you are writing in a year. And 26 essay, believe me, land you in a condition you can score in UPSC 135 plus. You can score 135 plus in UPSC, or if you are giving state PCS, you will get 150 plus in your state PCS. This is my promise if you are practicing 26 essay by using the framework that I am giving. Okay? I have given the entire roadmap, entire system, how we are going to do. So next this is a essay, quotation based essay given. So just read this essay and ask yourself whether you are getting some point or not. whether you are able to getting or collecting or do some brainstorming or not. I'll do it, don't worry, but for you I'm giving. After seeing this essay, what is your reaction? Are you able to find any points? Please make the session interactive, Baba. I've given everything, I've given access to you. You can speak, you can interact with me. Yes, dear, batao. Yes. I think
We'll
you are.
start with the data. We'll start with the data. So data is how when the plans are pending,
Okay,
laws are
okay.
pending in the
Okay, okay. No, this is actually, I know you can start from that. So I'm going to show you how you can start. By looking into this essay, it is look like, how I can write that to 1000 to 120 words, 1200 words, that to need to fill, 12 to 13 pages. It's very difficult, it looks like. But once you break down that essay, so I can break down this essay starting with the introduction. I can start from a story na. Story is my intro, one page na. Then I can talk about how injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere na. So injustice any just and threat to justice everywhere na. So I can write my first part of this essay in that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice where everywhere. I'll explain in different aspect. I'll explain in the society. I'll explain in the history. I'll explain in all the dimension I've discussed. So there I'll fill at least 5 to 6 pages na. Then then what I'll show you, I'll also give a counter argument. I have to give a counter argument whatever given in the essay topics. That is, injustice anywhere is always threat to justice everywhere. No, there are instances people with a lot of intellectual, even if there is injustice, they don't follow the injustice approach. Rather, they follow a just approach. So counter this argument na. Counter this argument 3 to 4 points. So that can take one page, fill the one page na. आप देखो अभी फिलहाल तो आपको कितना 6 7 पेज तो हो गया ना. Then you have to say that, you have to say how we can counter that na. Or you can talk about the basis why there is a when there is a injustice, that is what led to the threat to justice. So that means what are the reason, what are the base of this injustice led to the injustice anywhere, threat to justice everywhere. Here I can discuss about the psychological base na. Psychology, what is the psychology behind that? What is the human attitude? What is the social, what is the ethical principle? What is the philosophy behind it na? Okay, then after that we have to discuss what way forward, what are the steps that we have to take to tackle this problem na. So what we have to discuss about next is way forward na. Way forward we have to discuss in multiple sector again, like polity, society, economy, what kind of step we have to take. Then we have to conclude na. So we have to conclude whatever the story we are writing in the introduction. आपने देखे होंगे मूवी में कैसे कंक्लूड होती है, पहले कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को मार दिया, फिर स्टोरी बताता है कि मैंने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा. एट द एंड में क्या कंक्लूड करता है कि बाहुबली को मारा था अपने मन से नहीं है, ऐसे कुछ करता है ना. सेम वी हैव टू कंक्लूड एट द एंड आल्सो. So this is what framework we are going to use. So I'm going to show you. Let's see. So this is the essay topics. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So first we are going to write a very good anecdotes. So मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ. ये से इंट्रोडक्शन लिखना नहीं होता है. For your understanding, I'm writing here. So आपको पता होगा, this tribal people, those who are staying in the central India, so they used to live very peaceful with their own world without having any need of anyone. So you can see here, so they rely on the jal, jungle, jamin, like all these things, and they don't care about, they are happily staying there. But it is the greed of the outside people. They came there and exploit their minerals, exploit their forest, and then throw out of their jungles. When they protest, they try to defend their territory. When they are not able to do that, and that create a resentment, and that resentment is utilized by the left-wing extremism or Maoist. They create the Mao movement in this central India, and that central India movement, Mao movement, gradually spread to all over India. That threatened the peace, security even of our urban area. And in 2006, our the then Prime Minister the Manmohan Singh clearly stated that Naxal movement is one of the greatest security threat to the India internal security threat. You can see this injustice started a corner, a inside jungle far off from the Delhi, but it set fire in Delhi after 20, 30 years. So that is clearly indication that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So you have to write this anecdotes. That is what I have written, and then I have linked this with the quote. You can see that is what I have written. Everyone okay? अगर okay तो सब बताओ आगे बढ़े फिर.
Yes,
So
sir.
same
Okay.
way. Yes, Baba. Everything okay na?
Yes.
Okay, okay, very good. So in this way, you have to write the anecdote. So as we proceed, I am going to give you, lot of anecdotes. अगर आप लोग का अच्छा response आएगी, आप लोग join करोगे, definitely we are going to conduct this kind of sessions because I seeing all of your response and the enthusiasm. So definitely we are going to conduct. Okay. So then after writing this anecdote, so we have to link this anecdotes with the story. ना जैसे मैंने आपको क्या बताया, this Naxal movement started, or this Jan Jangal movement started because of injustice to a small section of in a remote corner, but it is spread out to the Delhi and it has threatened the peace of entire India. That too, our Prime Minister is saying that this is the biggest internal security threat in 2006. So this is clearly linking with the topics now: injustice, corner, and threat to justice everywhere now. That is what you have to link the introduction with the demand of the topic. Then you have to write a connecting lines. आपको connecting line क्या लिखना पड़ेगा? In this essay, we are going to see how injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere in different time scale. That means ancient, medieval, modern, contemporary, and world history, and different sector like political sector, social sector, economical sector, different sector. From there we are going to spread off. So that is what I have written. So you can see here, this story is an isolated incident, probably of our times, demonstrate the profound truth articulated by Martin Luther King Jr. So injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So this travel across the dimension of times and space. And times means ancient, medieval. What is that is what you have to write and show that this is what I'm going to discuss. So that those who are studying your essay, they have the fair amount of idea what will come in the due course of time. So history you can see about. In history, how injustice led to the injustice anywhere led to the justice, threat to justice everywhere. So post-Mauryan period, I think आपको पता होगा during Ashokan Empire, it was a big empire. It was so vast, but after the Ashoka, this is the starting of declining of the Mauryan Empire. Why this has happened? Because later Maurya, they are exploitative. They, you can see, they suppress the oppressive taxation exerted by the officials and misrule that press heavy upon the common people. So they exploit the people. So people are against their empire. So they revolted, they protested, and gradually the empire size is shrunken and ultimately declining of their empire. So you can see injustice meted out to a certain section of the society, and that is what led to the entire declining of the Mauryan Empire. Or with the declining of the Mauryan Empire, that create a lot of chaos, that create a lot of violence and lot of foreign empire. They came to India. There is a lot of fights, death of large number of people. You can see here. Next, in medieval time, you can see about the Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb, during his tenure, he destroyed a lot of temples, imposed jizya, so having religious hatred towards any religious against the Islam. So that is what created, resentment, operations, and even I think Aurangzeb also burned one of the person. I think by burn that person. So that is what led to the injustice in inside. And at the top, whenever the Aurangzeb reached its empire peak. Please mute your mic, AK and Ankit. Otherwise, I'll have to mute from my side. Please, everyone, mute your mic. Please, this is what creating a lot of disturbances. I'll have to mute. Otherwise, please, everyone, mute your mic. Try to understand. This is what creating disturbances. Please. ठीक है चलिए. So this is what happened in the medieval period. So in medieval period, Aurangzeb became very exploitative and started, suppressing everyone. But when Aurangzeb reached its peak, conquer of the Deccan and big empire, that is the starting of fall of the Mughal Empire. And after that, India became colonized of the British for last 250 years. And that is what led to the exploitation, loot. And you know that during British period, our economic growth was almost 0.001%, and our literacy rate was quite low. British looted here, British exploited here, and at the end, they left Indians to die in hunger. That is the condition happen because of one person's exploitations, injustice to one section of the society. Next, you can see in the modern times. So before Jallianwala Bagh incident, so people used to support, some section of the people, they think that, Britisher might be good, might be, just they don't aware about our condition. If we provide them detail our condition, they might give a lot of concessions to us. But after this Jallianwala Bagh, they that shattered their, everyone myth, and they understood that British are exploitator, and this injustice actually create a. Ankit, please mute your mic. Ankit, I'm saying please mute your mic. Everyone, please mute your mic. Okay, so next is and this Jallianwala Bagh created a lot of sentiments against the people of India, so that the sentiment ultimately grow and create an anti-colonial sentiment, and that ultimately led to the kicking out of the Britisher from the Indian subcontinent. You can see one injustice led to the big transformation, and we are changing everything. So next is Treaty of Versailles. I think everyone knows that Treaty of Versailles is signed after the World War One. So World War One, we have signed the Treaty of Versailles, and it is signed. It is an imposed treaty on the Germans. So this treaty was imposed, humiliated Germans people. They have insulted German people's entire German race was insulted. So that is what led to the emergence of hardcore radical forces like the you can say Hitler, Benito Mussolini. So all these things led to the World War II and destruction of large number of people in this World War II. You can see small injustice led to the big destruction at the world level. So peace destabilization happened. Okay, so that is what we have seen in the historical aspect. No need to write all these points. At least you can pick one or two. You can ignore. I have given multiple points for your understanding. The next is social sphere. You can see social sphere. For example, there is a religious minority. So if there is a religious minority, they live in India, and if we don't respect their culture, their right, their religion, so what they will do? So they are more vulnerable. The more we suppress, they are more vulnerable, and some people might utilize them to radicalize, promote terrorism, and conduct the attack. Ultimately, that create a lot of chaos, death of our innocent people. Na? Injustice anywhere happened, threat to the justice everywhere. Na? So Mumbai terror blast attack, we have seen repeated communal violence. This is what happened. Why? Because this is ardent supported by our foreign element, those who anti-social element who don't want peace in India, they are going to utilize that. Second, you can see about the tribal, scheduled caste, and marginalized. When we don't give them right, we are suppressing historically over a period of time. So that is what led to the movement, violence movement all over the India. We have seen, northern India movement by the Dalit, then counter movement by the upper caste. All this caste violence happened is because of this injustice that is meted out to them through centuries. Okay, same thing happened in the case of women. Just imagine in your family, your most of socialization, education happen under the women, and your father. I think now they are taking care, but most of the children, our socialization, initial education happen in the mother. That is the reason it is called mother tongue, not father tongue. Even I have never heard of people calling this as a father tongue. People call this as a mother tongue. Why? Because we are very close to our mother. Just a second here. Just imagine if we are very close to our mother, and up to sixth, seventh class, our mother used to teach us, taught us a lot of things. So just imagine if our mother are not educated, our sisters are not educated. So do you think that you will have that base strong so that you can be a good workforce, good engineer, good anything good? That's not going to be happen. And by ignoring the education of the woman, by ignoring education of our mother, ultimately we are destroying the future of the nation. So we can see small injustice were meted out to the few section of the female. It is impacting our national growth. Okay, so that is what you have to write. You are doing something, but its implication is very big. I'm going to give you one more example. Let's say the child labor. So what people used to do, we used to employ the children, we used to abuse the children just on the sake of greed, like bonded labor, child labor. So, and some people also employ the child in the crimes also. And when you don't give education to the children and you suppress their right, you abuse them, then these children can be hardcore criminals, and they can later on emerge as a very dangerous criminal, and they can be a anti-social element that create a lot of disturbances to our society. Now, देखो, society meted out injustice to a small section of the society. That small section can be very dangerous. I think आपने एक मूवी देखे हुए होंगे, असुर था ना, ये असुर, असुर मूवी आपने देखे होंगे, असुर वेब मूवी, वेब सीरीज.
ये
तो वहां पर एग्जाम्पल
पुलिस
है ना,
वाला
बड़े अच्छा है ना.
सीरीज था।
It
Sorry?
was a series.
हाँ, वेब सीरीज आपने देखे होंगे,
Yes.
सेम स्टोरी लिंक है ना.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
That is what you have to link. So if you are doing injustice, how it is impacting that person, that the kid were actually very psychologically very disturbed. Okay, so next we are going to see how politically and governance fear, if you are doing injustice, that is what led to the big threat to the peace. So for example, in political domain, you can see, if let's say there is a big state, but we are not developing a particular region of that state, and we are ignoring that region might be decided by certain communities, certain religions, certain tribals. So in that is what fueling of our separatism movement, secessionism movement, and separate identity. And this is the starting of the terrorist movement, nationalist movement, separatist movement, demand for the separate state. Now, classic example is Khalistan movement. Classic example is Telangana movement. Sometimes this movement can turn into violence, and with support of anti-social element and foreign element, that can be very violence also. Na? We can see what started as a political demand gradually transformed into a big security threat. I think during the Telangana movement, the people were demanding for separate Telangana. I was in Hyderabad, so I've seen how the security forces have deployed there. I've seen there. So at that time, I was in Hyderabad. So I know the situation at that time. Like one section 144 imposed, and everywhere police forces gone with full bullet. So that is what happened. So next is the resource. For example, if there is a resource, but those who are rich in resource, they don't give. For example, let's say the distribution of the river. Let's say this is a river flowing. Let's say this is our India, and a river flowing through this. An upper riparian state, they used to keep control of the water, and they don't give sufficient water to the lower riparian state. So continuously this exploitation, when lower people suffer because of drought and farmer suicide, that create a lot of resentment against the upper riparian state. Na? So that is what led to the interstate water dispute and violence against other states. Na? It is classically seen during Kaveri water dispute and violence between Kerala and Karnataka. आपने देखे होंगे. Okay. And dear student, I think most of the students, those who have not joined our group, please, you can join our Telegram Strive IAS. You can just search Strive IAS and then join. So we are conducting this kind of session regularly. So I think here it is given the link. You can check out. Okay. So Strive IAS, you can check out, join it. We are conducting this session also. So for your information, I've given this. So next thing is, there's things that we are going to discuss is about in governance aspect. So whenever there is a governance deficit, so governance deficit can be happen in the anywhere. So governance deficit led to the people have no trust on the criminal justice system. For example, आपने देखे होंगे क्या था वो जो बागी मूवी था ना, अरे वो ताऊ जी जो, रुको यार, पान सिंह तोमार मूवी, यू हैव सीन इट ना. So what happened? So when the Pan Singh was, go for went to complain in the police station, police not written any complaint. So that is what led to the Pan Singh emerging into the Dakura. That is what happened. So when governance is not there and police is not listening to the people are quite angry. And when people are quite angry, they pick arms to their hand and they don't have belief in the justice system. So that is the reason we have seen why people are lynched and killed people just on the suspicions, because they believe that the law will not do anything. And why people are taking law into their hands, because they know that criminal justice system is not going to give justice to them. So all these are the main reason for all these things. So governance deficit can lead to the people no longer trust on the state, so begin to take law into their hands and collapse. Classic example is mob lynching, rising violence, okay, vigilant violence. Now all these things happen. Even some of the, I think recently there is a encounter happened in the Bihar. I don't know about detail about that. I think आपको पता होगा. So you can see about. So when people believe that nothing will happen in the administration, so they'll pick the gun. So that person, I think, as people said, it's a good person, but pick the gun. So why? Because lack of trust on the justice system. Okay, so you can write that also. So next we are going to see in the international and economic sphere. So far everything is okay. Just give a thumbs up if everything is okay. Very good. So in international relation, so how injustice led to the injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Let's see all this problem in the Afghanistan, Central Asia, Iraq, Iran, Iraq, all these things happen. Why? Because USA was interested that region in 1980s and 90s, so they want to control the oil. So that is the reason they are CIA. They try to establish a puppet ruler there. Okay? And now USA is having shale oil. There is a oil available in their home. And earlier they planted, they developed the Taliban to counter the Russian. But after disintegration of USSR, so they don't need Taliban help. So they don't give support to all this regime. And this regime already supported and terrorists developed. But when money is not given, so they are on the mercy of the government. There is a fight going on. So all these forces later on emerge into a deadly terrorist force. Na. Take injustice done to them. So you have promised them, for example, take the example of Kurd. USA promised to protect the Kurd, but they have withdrawn from the Kurd. USA promised to protect the Afghan, those who are helping the US soldier, but USA they withdraw their soldier, leaving behind this Afghan to die by the Taliban. So whenever you are committing some of the crime, some of the injustice to these people, so they will take revenge. That revenge can be seen, the Osama bin Laden attacking the World Trade Center. So now the migrant people are going there and attacking. I think you know that in Europe, so a lot of attacks, racial attacks, a lot of people are killing all these European people. A lot of migrant wave are moving towards Europe. Why this has happened? It is because of injustice meted out to these countries, to this West Asia. Now they are facing the consequences. So that is the reason. Never ever let injustice to anywhere ultimately destroy the justice everywhere. So this is the example of international relation. So next you can see about the economic spheres. Just imagine in agriculture sector. So our farmer, they are doing everything to feed our nation. But at the end, what they are doing, they are not getting their money because input cost is high, market is exploitative, so they are not getting any money. So farmer are not in interest to do farming. So they are planning to shift to other occupation. They can do any work. So if every farmer think like that, that is what going to impact our agriculture. Now just imagine for agriculture impact, and then we are not going to have food. Then what to eat, how to eat. So we might face a food crisis. So then a famous quote given by MS Swaminathan: "Future of a nation not belongs to country having the gun, but country having the grain." So that is the reason we have to mete out justice to our farmer. We need to give due rates, due return to the farmer. Otherwise, farmer will not follow this agricultural growth. Okay. Second thing you can talk about the economy. For example, let's say corporate. If they are exploiting the consumer by profiteering, so and paying less salary to our worker, so worker will not have purchasing power, and worker will not have good health. Worker will not have good education. The children will not have good education. In that case, they will not have the purchasing power. They will not be productive to work for the corporate, and ultimately corporate will be collapsed. देखो corporate, the Reliance industry, the Adani, so they are earning this money because of the society. We are giving resources, we are becoming a consumer of their product, and we are working there. If we are don't have money to purchase their product, so they will not thrive here. So their economy, their money, their share will be collapsed. So that is what, if they are doing injustice to the society, definitely they will be collapsed. From there the concept of corporate social responsibility is coming now. From there only we have developed the concept of corporate social responsibility. We will write in the way forward and solution of this problem. Okay. Next, I think one more thing you can see in economical aspect. So some of the states, their government is doing very good. They have developed their industry. They have developed their service sector. So their economy is boom. But some states, because of the corruption, because of political, corruption and maladministration, so they are not able to develop their economy properly. So that is what led to the migration of from the developing state to the developed state like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and this migrant worker can work at a very less rate as compared to local people. So the local people think that the migrant worker are taking away our job. So that is what led to the attack against the migrant worker, development of the son of soil concept. Now you can see something injustice happened just because of greed of a politician led to the entire people of Bihar are called Biharis. I think आपको पता होगा. And northern people, they are taken names like they're Bengalis, like they have given migrant name. These are Bengalis worker, and each and every name with a negative connotation. Why this has happened is because of some corrupt politician. They don't able to develop their economy. You can see injustice anywhere, how it is impacting bigger national economy. I think आपको पता होगा in Tamil Nadu, so there is a false narrative created that there will be attack against the Bihar workers. So that is what led to the entire workers shifted from Bihar towards Tamil Nadu, and entire Tamil Nadu economy is collapsed now because of that. You can see how injustice happened. One somewhere is impacting negatively justice everywhere. No? So you can write like that. So next we can see about the internal security. So just tell me any internal security disturbances happening in India, be that terrorism, be that Naxalism, be that left-wing extremism, be that communal violence, all these things having its root injustice. Okay, injustice is always there. That is what led to the movement. So for example, Maoism because of tribal displacement, left-wing extremism, the secessionism in Northeast because of you can say lack of governance, corruptions, and the separation of the tribals also. Then you can talk about communalism happens because of not respecting the cultural values of all this minority community. So you can see all internal security have its origin in injustice. And when internal security became very big issue, terrorism big issue, it is going to impact everyone justice. So you will not able to perform your socio-economical political justice. You can see it. So next you can see about the environmental domain. Just talk about environment. In environmental domain you can see, so we think that everything is ours, but it is not ours. So the forest, the animals, they are having their intrinsic value, but we have destroyed everything, we have killed everything, we have on the name of greed. So what happened now? Now we don't have oxygen, now it is heat wave, drought, flood. Okay, everything happens. So ultimately it is killing lots of people, it is creating injustice. Some people house became homeless, some people died there, breadwinner. Some people having the dream to be study higher, but because of there is no person to provide money for education. So we can see by doing injustice to our forest, our ecosystem, implication is very bigger. So you have to link that. Okay. So other side of the story. So whenever there is a essay, you also have to give a counter argument. We have discussed, as for the essay, yes, injustice led to the injustice anywhere, is it led to justice everywhere. But you can give one or two counterpoint. It is not always happen. For example, Kalinga War. So during Kalinga War, so it is the, you can say, the bloodshed or the violence that is done by the Ashoka. Okay, it is injustice, but it is not to the justice. Injustice in Kalinga is not led to the threaten the justice everywhere. Rather, it changed the mind of the Ashoka, and Ashoka followed the principle of Dharma, and that is what led to the peaceful all over the empire. So next, we can say about the some of the tribes in Andaman. So it can be Sentinel tribes and other tribes. They're staying there, but our government is not, providing developmental assistance, not allowing people to go there and interact with there. So we are isolating them. It is, though it is look like we are doing injustice, but this injustice is doing for good for them, because the Sentinel tribes, they don't have exposure, so they don't have resistance to even simple cold. So if you go there and touch them, you might spread your disease to them, and entire tribes might be wiped out, their culture might be destroyed. So that is the reason. If it might be look like we are doing injustice, but it is not good of them, nah? So next you can see about the Armed Force Special Power Act, ASPA. So we might implement ASPA in disturbed region of northeastern state. It might look like some of the provision may be exploitative. There might be instances people are killed by security forces, but injustice may be happen. But it is essential to protect national security, protect the larger peace in the state. Just imagine Manipur incident. If there is no peace, the entire community could, may kill each other. Entire may lead to the huge people death. So may security forces fire upon some people to save these people. So that is what we need. So then we can talk about our freedom struggle. Dekho, our freedom struggle is on the basis of exploitative policy of the British. So injustice, but that injustice don't lead to the further exploitation. Rather, we have learned from that, this injustice we will not continue in our constitution. That is what we have led to the, we have created a constitution that is that try to provide socio economic and political justice. So that is the main objective of our Gandhiji. So then Gandhiji followed peaceful non-violence path. Even if someone is exploiting, someone is creating violence, you should be humble and gentle to that person, always follow the truth line. So that is what we can learn from this intellectual people. So this 4 point you can counter your essay. Sometime you need to give counter argument to your essay. Okay, if possible, 1 or 2 line is also okay. So so we have seen how injustice anywhere led to justice everywhere. Then we have seen counter to that. Then we are going to see why injustice is just like a contagion. If some people are facing injustice, why it is led to the bigger injustice. So first thing is called as broken window theory. What is broken window theory? If a kid broken a window, so you don't say anything to this kid, and that improve his strength, that motivate that kids to break 2 3 window. So that is what contagion. If you don't stop the crime, so that might multiply later on. So that is what called broken window theory. So you have to stop the crime at the earliest. So when injustice happen, we have to stop that. If you don't stop that, then it will go and increasing and it will go out of control. That is what it means. So next is social learning theory. So this theory try to say that we are learning from the society. The moment you see that people are committing all this violence, all this unjust means, and they emerge as a successful without having any checks and checks, and you are honest person, you are doing all this good work, still you are not getting any success. आपने बहुत पढ़ाई की यूपीएससी में प्रीलिम्स ही क्लियर नहीं किया, लेकिन पता चला कि पूजा खेड़कर ने पूरा का पूरा आईएएस बन गया ऐसे ऐसे, तो आपको क्या लगेगा मैं भी चीट करना शुरू कर दूं. So gradually, that is what force you to follow the unjust path and violate the right of the others. ठीक है ना? So that is what actually happened. That is what called social learning theory. So next is social contract theory. So in society we are living, we have given some of our right to the government, and government have the right to ensure equality just of anyone. But in that system, whenever we see that government or institution, they are favoring one over another and they are discriminating. So people generally lose their trust and they involve on this crime and generally take law into their hands. क्योंकि उनको पता है पुलिस तो कुछ करने वाला नहीं है, so it's better to defend ourselves. So in that name, they commit all this crime. So next is social attitude. Sometimes what happen, you the moment you see something wrong is happen, we generally tends to ठीक है ये तो हमारा क्या फर्क पड़ता है. We just tends to stay away. It is said that everyone want Bhagat Singh, but not in their family. Everyone want Bhagat Singh, but not in their family. So this is what said by the people. So because of your apathy, bystander effect, and cynicism, ethnocentrism, you don't believe these people, these are not our people, so let them face problems. So ये मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, वो तो हमारा रिलीजन का नहीं है, हमारा रेस का नहीं है, हमारा स्टेट का नहीं है, हमारा रीजन का नहीं है, सो मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है. सो दैट इज व्हाट दी यू कैन से द म्यूट स्पेक्टेटर एक्टिव एटीट्यूड एक्चुअली प्रमोट ना. That mute spectator attitude actually promote for this crime to multiply and increase later on. Okay, this is what we have seen, this psychologically, ethics, and you can say philosophical attitude are based for promoting injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So next we are going to see the we are seeing all this problem. Now we are going to see about the path forward or way forward. What are the steps we can take to prevent this injustice happen itself now, because injustice is the root cause of all this problem. If we can remove this injustice, then everything will be gone now. So you can talk about social sphere like we can provide affirmative action, just like we are providing 106 constitutional amendment act reservations to our women. We can provide reservations to our SC/ST. Okay, so we can provide educations to our children. All these things you can talk about now. Same in political sphere. So political sphere, if we can respect the culture, we can give adequate protection, adequate safeguards, so then it is not going to have any political repercussion demand for separate state. If there is a demand for separate state, then we can consider, if possible, then we can create a state. I think you can see in northeastern state, so it is currently, it's a peaceful region now. So why it is peaceful region? Earlier it used to be very disturbed region, because we have respected their culture, we have created a lot of states. That is what led to the most stability in the northeastern state now. So if in politically, if we really try to empower them, give them the democracy, so this is what going to bring the lasting peace to this region. Okay, so next in governance. So if you are giving good governance to the people, and people have the faith that the system, the administration is just, and it is going to deliver the justice, so definitely they will have trust, they will not take law into their hands. And when people have everything, so what is the reason of fighting? For example, if a person commit a crime, within 6 months there is a conviction, so why this person is going to kill a person to go to jail? So that is what we need to promote: good governance, social justice, RTI, everything we need to ensure, so that that should be welfareism approach and people have the trust in the system. So in agriculture, same thing we can talk about. If we are giving good amount of return to our farmer, and farmers think that agriculture is remunerative activity, rather than skipping, I should continue that. So then they'll continue. So we will not have shortage of food now. Economy, so same thing you can talk about the reversal of the corporate tax. If you ensure inclusive growth, equitable taxation, or progressive taxation, higher earning, higher taxation, that is what led to the inclusive, equitable development of our economy now. So in environmental sector, you can also talk about, for example, we have to think that each and every creature in this environment, the environment is there also. It is not the human being. Just because you are powerful, talented, we should not colonize, capture, kill everyone. Rather, we should respect. Then only environment will provide a lot of benefits to us. Now, wood, timber, forest, then oxygen, water, everything it will provide to us. So it will multiply. So next we can talk about security and human right. Now, if you are protecting the internal security, respecting the human rights. So, for example, just take the example of northeast insurgency. The insurgency almost down. How it is possible? Because we respect the local people. We ensure the development that region. Even Jammu Kashmir also development is seen, and the militancy is declining because developmental approach. So when we follow that, then automatically when there is no injustice, then that is not going to have threat to justice anywhere. Same international relation. If you are maintaining good relation, friendly relation, respecting democracy, you are not imposing other, respecting culture, global culture, all this, then people will not fight you. If you are not intervening other country, not creating disturbances, then that is not going to have any implication. So international relation, we need to follow the principle of sovereignty, principle of respect for other country. Then only we can see good result. Same in science and technology. You can talk about, in why we can be used for promoting justice rather than creating injustice. Now, for example, science and technology can be a tool of exploitation also. Whenever you use to empower people, for example, jam, jandhar, Aadhaar, mobile can be used to better targeting, to bring justice directly reach to the people rather than having any diversion. Same technology can also be a target for exclusion also. Now, Jandhan, Aadhaar, mobile led to the exclusion of some of the people. I think Santoshi Kumari and Meena Kumari, I think one lady from Jharkhand died because of not able to get food because of not access, biometrics is not properly matched. We can say this injustice technology can become sometime be source of injustice also. ठीक है, मैं आपको एक अच्छा एग्जांपल देती हूँ. So one not lady transgender from the Manipur. So he want to, no, I don't know, he see what I am going to transgender actually, but the entire system in there is two options, male or female. So he well, I don't know what to say, he or she not able to feel transgender, so he filled as a she filled as a female, but later on his certificate was rejected that you are not a female, how come you are filled it. So like it create a lot of problem just because of technology glitches. One person is not able to access his or her rights. Just imagine, the technology can be a source of exploitation injustice also if it is not designed properly. ठीक है, आप देखो ना, तो आई थिंक दिस ऑल दिस the commercial technology, like the moment you share something, you are getting the advertisement of that na, so that is what called social manipulation na. Okay, then we are going to write the conclusion. So while we are writing the conclusion, we generally refer to the what we have written in the introduction. So we return at the end where we began. The forest where destruction of the Jal Jungle Jameen were once drove the tribal community into the Naxalite movement. So there you have to link it. And now you can say now we have followed the path of development. We have learned from our past and follow the path of development. Now we have seen that tribal movement are gradually moving backward, and our government declared that by March next year we will remove the Naxal movement all over the India. So this is what possible because we have corrected the injustice that is we meet out to our tribal peoples now. So that is what we have to write. Okay, so that is what I have written here. So in this tribals are testing the fruits of development, their people are participating in panchayat, state legislature, and even risen to the highest office of their state. So lands once synonymous with the violence are flourishing. So you can talk about the principle of injustice anywhere is to justice everywhere. Then the converse equally true. When we secure justice at one place, we nurture justice across the whole. To heal one wound is to strengthen the entire body. This is not just a merely warning, but an invitation to recognize that our fate are bound together. And it is said, na, we live in a world, global village. So what you do, it will be come back. Okay. So and the surest path to just and secure nation runs through the justice of even the most forgotten kernel. So that is what you have to conclude. This is the frame of the essay. So thank you to all of you, and whatever may be your doubt, now it is open to all of you. You can ask me. I'll try to solve it. समझ में आया? पहले बताओ essay को.
Yes, sir.
ऐसे समझ में आया सबको?
Yes, sir.
कोई भी आपको डाउट है, कुछ पूछना चाहते हो, then it is open to all of you. You can go ahead and ask me.
सर ये जो
Please.
इफ आई मे सर
Yes,
ये
yes,
जो
please,
आप
Baba, please.
जैसे आप बता रहे थे तो वहाँ पे हुती और तुत्सी का जो रवांडन में प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, तो उससे भी तो एनेक्डोट स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं कि आप देखिएगा कि धीरे धीरे और सब कंट्री में भी ये फैलता गया, जिस कारण से अफ्रीका का रिसोर्सेज नीचे गया और प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा हुआ और फ्रांस उसका फायदा उठाया.
Yes, yes, you can write, Baba. This is one story. I have written this story so that everyone can understand. You can write that story, but you should link with the essay. Whatever you are saying is absolutely correct. Africa, all this terrorist movement, everything is going on in Africa because of exploitation, yeah. We have exploited them. So that is the reason Boko Haram, all these people, they are attacking everyone. So this is what happened. Yes, you are absolutely right. This can be a point also. हाँ प्रभात, yes please.
सर जैसे इसमें लास्ट में पॉइंट वाइज लिखे हैं साइंस एंड टेक इकोनॉमी ऐसे ऐसे में लिख सकते हैं क्या?
No. You can start like in economical aspect or in economy sector or in the prospect of economy. You have to write like that.
ओके तो
In the
हियर
domain
इट
of
इज
economy.
ओके सर इट इज गिवन
In
फॉर
the
आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
it's for your understanding and to explain you very fast. That is what I've written. Because in political sphere, you can write in political sphere, the social sphere, or in the political sector, or to bring about social justice. You can write like that. Okay, it should not be look like that, but it should clearly show that yes, I have written this sector. Actually, the evaluator is not going to read your essay completely, rather read the highlight pointed. Na? So we can write in economical aspect or to bring about social justice to ensure political empowerment. That means we are using the words, but little bit of modification, na?
अंडरस्टैंड.
हाँ. यस डियर बाबा, कोई भी डाउट है पूछ लीजिए.
सर एक
प्लीज
प्रॉपर
प्लीज.
एक ऐसे ऐसा किसी का प्रॉपर जैसे ऐसे लिखा उसका फ्रेमवर्क भी दिखा सकते हैं क्या मुझे?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, आप लोग इसको लिख लो ना, मैं आपको चेक करूंगा, इवैल्यूएशन करवा दूंगा, आइडिया लग जाएगा. ओके आई थिंक हाँ, कोई टॉपर्स का मैं आपको दे दूंगा, डोंट वरी. टॉपर्स का मैं आपको शेयर करवा दूंगा, सो विल गेट लॉट ऑफ आइडिया. एनी अदर डाउट बाबा? पूछिए पूछिए आप, जो भी डाउट है पूछिए, आपके सामने है. Yes, dear, please go ahead. Otherwise, you'll have to end our session here. हेमंत, कोई डाउट है आपका?
सर हेलो
हाँ बताओ हेमंत.
सर.
यस यस.
जैसे ये ऐसे में रहता है कि कोई भी जीएस के लिए फ्रेमवर्क हो गया, पेस्टल अप्रोच या समथिंग लाइक दैट, तो मान लीजिए
हाँ.
अनकन्वेंशनल कोई ऐसे आ गया कि समझ नहीं आया, क्योंकि जब मैंने पढ़ा कि इनजस्टिस एनीवेयर इज ए थ्रेट टू जस्टिस एवरीवेयर, आई हैव थॉट ऑफ दैट विच एग्जांपल आई हैव गिवन इन द प्रीवियस तुलसी राइवलरी वाला. तो कभी कभी ये भी हो सकता है कि आउट ऑफ ट्रैक आप चले जाएं किसी को समझाते
हाँ,
समझाते.
that is the reason you have to always read the question before writing. You have to keep on reading the question while writing. You have to keep on reading this question while writing. After reading each, after writing one paragraph, you have to again refer. High chances of diverting from the topics. High chances. So there is one more framework. There are not one framework. So I've written one book. My screen is visible to everyone. तो आप ये देख सकते हो. मैंने एक book भी लिखा हूँ उस पे ऐसे पे ना. मेरा screen दिख रहा है ना आप लोग को?
यस सर.
You can see this essay book I've written. So here I've written multiple framework also. So we are going to discuss. I think if it is visible, you can see here. I'll share this photo in all my group also. So there are multiple framework also. We can also use the question framework, na? What, why, whom, all these WH questions. You can simply put like there is a dialectical approach. I think किसका था वो सोक्रेट्स या एरिस्टोटल का था जो डायलेक्टिकल अप्रोच, जो क्वेश्चन एंड फॉरवर्ड.
हेगल का था,
तो
हेगल का था.
नहीं हेजल नहीं था यार, आई थिंक एरिस्टोटल था. आई थिंक सोक्रेट्स, सोक्रेट्स का था यार, सोक्रेट्स का था. मुझे थोड़ा सा ना मेमोरी लॉस हो रहा है, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ और याद नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. सो एक्चुअली दे यूज्ड टू पुट क्वेश्चन व्हाट इज डेमोक्रेसी, देन सामने वाला तुम्हें आंसर देगा, तुम फिर एक क्वेश्चन पूछोगे, वो तुम्हें आंसर देगा. सॉरी.
सॉक्रेट्स ही थे सर.
हाँ सोक्रेट्स, यस सोक्रेट्स. तो सेम अप्रोच यू कैन फॉलो योर एसे. सो यू कैन से व्हाट इज इनजस्टिस, how injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If it is happened, then why it is happened. How we can tackle that, like this questioning framework. You have to put one question, then answer it. Question one, then answer it. This approach also you need to follow. So I'm going to tell you in further classes. This approach is also very helpful. But if you keep on practicing, 15, 30, 20 to 30 essays, so it is not going to have any issue or problem in the examination. Or problem we are facing because we are not practicing. Okay.
So, but lack of
ठीक है.
resources could be also a reason for not writing a good essay.
No, I don't think resource is not an issue. Issue is you are not thinking
Lack of knowledge.
and you are not. you are not getting the guidance also. And most of the people, they are saying, for essay you need to study that, this, so that is they are creating a lot of fears. मुझे बताओ, मैंने आपको कुछ ऐसे बताया जो पहली बार आपको पता नहीं था? मुझे बताओ, कोई भी चीजें मैंने ऐसे बताया जो इट इज बियॉन्ड योर सिलेबस और यू डोंट नो? Entire essay मैंने कुछ नहीं बताया कि that you don't know. If you don't know, that means you have not completed, because some portion of the ethics you are going to study while you are completing the ethics also. Not a single point I've told you that is not part of your syllabus. This is what part of your GS syllabus. So people used to create fear in your mind. You need to study this, that, lot of books, essay, quote. No need to do all these things. Rather, you should strengthen your base essay. Like all this GS1, GS2, GS3 content, good data, so you can support that. That is what going to help you to write good essay. And do brainstorming. Like pick topics from the previous year question and arrange them on the thematic lines. I think I've given you the previous year essay on thematic lines. I think I've given you GS1, GS2, GS3, and essay and syllabus on the thematic line. If you are not received, just give me a message. I'll repost in our group. So from there, you can collect all this essay related to, let's say, environment, and keep on thinking in environment. What kind of anecdote I'm going to use? What are the points? What are the way forward? If you are designing, then whatever may be the point, it is going to be. And if they ask vague essay, then pick one point from everywhere and mix it. It will be your new essay also. If you have designed, let's say you have good content for 15-20 essay, then whatever may be the essay, you can pick one theme from each and every essay. Then you can frame a good essay, whatever may be the question. Okay. I can tell you, same points I'm going to use multiple quotation based essays. Same point, same example, everything, but according to the demand of the essay, I can modify that now. Okay, na? So that is what you have to develop the skill.
सर ऐसे में डायग्राम वगैरह यूज कर सकते हैं, जैसे फ्लो चार्ट, या फिर जो जनरली अपन जीएस के आंसर राइटिंग में करते हैं उस तरह कोई?
नहीं करते बाबा, नहीं करते हैं। हेडिंग आप दे सकते हो, ऐसे जैसे मैंने यहाँ है हेडिंग पुट किया ना, कुछ कुछ हेडिंग आप दे सकते हो। ये वाला हेडिंग नहीं, बिग हेडिंग दे सकते हो, लाइक दैट, दिस हेडिंग ना, रुको, दिस बिग हेडिंग ना, यू कैन ऐड 1 or 2 big heading, but you should not write all this introduction body. For your understanding I have given, but you can start a social sphere. Instead of writing social sphere, you can say in social sphere we can see this. Instead of writing social sphere arrow, no need to write, you can continue. For example, history, you can start from here. Now, history is most pertinent teacher. You can start directly from the sentence. No need to write all these things. For your understanding and to explain you, I have written. In social sphere, you can just reduce that. You can say injustice directed particular section of the society. Here it is clearly showing na society. What is the point of writing? So here no need to write that. In political domain, it is clearly showing. So this is what you have to underline, and you have to show that the evaluator, look, I have written a lot of dimension. I have given a lot of examples also. Then only you will get. For example, in governance deficit, you can see governance deficit led to the mob lynching, rising violence. By reading these two keywords, I can understand. Na? So that is what talking about law and order problem led to the injustice, and that is what led to the violence. Na? You can see by giving two words, your evaluator will understand what you are writing. So that is what very important. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other doubt, please go ahead.
सर ऐसे में भी हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं क्या important keywords
Yes,
or something
बिल्कुल.
like that?
Yes, you should do because it's 120. No one is interested to read your essay. देखो, जो कॉपी आपको इवेलुएट कर रहा है तुमसे बहुत टैलेंटेड है, बहुत आगे है। देखो हम तो अभी, तुम कितना एज में हो, तो उसको 3 गुना बड़ा है, बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है, कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है पढ़ने में। वो पढ़ते हैं क्योंकि पैसा मिलती है। तो आप जब हाईलाइट कर देते हो, अंडरलाइन कर देते हो, दैट इज बिकम वेरी इजी। जस्ट दैट मीन्स यू आर सेइंग just read these 3 words and understand what I'm writing in this entire paragraph. So it's quite easy. By reading these 3 words, I can understand what you are writing. So if it is easy, I can do a lot of copy evaluation. I'll earn more money, so I'll give you more marks. This quid pro quo. So the more you put strain on the evaluator eyes, evaluator will strain on your marks. ये हम बोलते हैं, जब हम मेंस लिखते थे, ये चीज हम बोलते थे। इसीलिए your sole objective is to reduce the workload of the evaluator. Okay.
सर मेरा एक प्रॉब्लम
Yes.
था कि जैसे जीएस में मैंने फ्रेमवर्क बनाया, से फॉर एग्जांपल गवर्नेंस और एनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू दैट, अब वो फ्रेमवर्क में हमको ये कैसे पता चलेगा कि यहाँ से डेटा या फिर इतना डेटा ही डालें जो बेटर रहेगा या फिर और एनरिच करना, क्योंकि 250 या फिर 125 वर्ड्स में उसको क्रिस्प करना वो कभी कभी प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो जाता है। मान लीजिए हम 15 पॉइंट अपने से ब्रेनस्टॉर्म कर लिए, लेकिन उसको लॉजिकली कोहेरेंस में कैसे लाएं, उसमें थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम आता है।
तो एक्चुअली ना देखो, मैंने बोलता ना कि देखो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, कितने भी आप सिमुलेशन में ड्राइविंग करो, देखो मैं सच में आपको बता रहा हूँ, देखो कितने भी आप सिमुलेशन में ड्राइव करो, फील्ड में ड्राइविंग सीखो, वो कोई काम का नहीं आता है जब तक आप दिल्ली का ट्रैफिक या फिर गजब ट्रैफिक में ना फंसे हो ना। जब आप गजब ट्रैफिक में फंसते हो तो अपने आप हाथ पैर चलने लगता है, आपको पता चल जाता है कहाँ पर क्लच लगाना है, कहाँ पर ब्रेक लगाना है, एवरीथिंग विल लर्न। Same thing. If you start writing on a daily basis and do evaluation of that, then your evaluator will tell you why you are writing like that. You have to write like that. मतलब आपको बहुत डांट पड़ेगा भाई, क्या कर रहा है क्या कर रहा है, तो आपको धीरे 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 करके वो रिफाइंड हो जाएगी, वो अच्छा होगा। देखो नहीं तो जब तक आप लिंक नहीं कर पाओगे बड़ी इशू आएगी ना, समझ रहे हो ना। तो दैट इज व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, एटलीस्ट प्रैक्टिस आंसर राइटिंग, एंड किसी से एक बार इवेलुएट करवा लो तो उससे आपको आइडिया लग जाएगा। ठीक है। यस डियर, एनी अदर डाउट प्लीज। मुझे बता दिए, मैं भी ऑन कर देती है ना। If you have any other doubt, then otherwise we'll have end our session here. ठीक है, then चलिए bye bye. Good night, dear student. Again, maybe next week. Let's see. I think we should plan to meet, conduct this session regularly, weekly basis. ठीक है. So we'll have this session next Sunday. Let's see on what thematic topics you can suggest me on my number. So you can suggest me. So on that basis we can start it. Okay. चलिए dear student. Bye bye. Good night. Good night all.
Yes.
Bye.